And this is Unrelegated, recording live from our studio at Hudson FC on this pre-international break Tuesday. Yeah.
Cheers for breaks.
And
honestly,
I think
it's coming in at a good time.
everybody needs a break.
Oh, everybody.
8 and 28, and then none in 26. So it's all good, man.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Give me a break. All right. So first, welcome Devon back. Appreciate you coming on last minute. Always great to have you on, and that's going to work out because we have some things to talk to you about as well.
Yeah, man.
Some new and exciting stuff that's going on.
It's like we've been hanging out with you for a while now, so I feel like it's bound to happen. It's kind of weird.
No, it's enjoyable. We had a lot of fun in New York City, and I'm sure we got a lot of things to talk about there. And we got games and all kinds of international games.
Don't tease.
Okay, I'm
Stop
sorry.
teasing.
I know. But if you're a loyal follower of our various social media accounts, you're probably well aware of all that stuff. But we're going to go ahead and fill you in anyways, just in case you haven't been catching up on all the latest things that we've been putting out. So we'll go ahead and touch on that. Kelly, just recently I saw some pictures. You were at a photo shoot at Midway Pub, right?
I was.
What was that about?
So Terry from Footy Mob hit me up, I talked about it actually at the tailgate for the Chicago game, but she was like, hey, a bunch of us are getting together to do sort of like a Heather-style soccer promo for the Women's World Cup at Midway. And I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely. Include me on that. I can bring some of my kits because I had a U.S., France, and Malta kit. So I just brought kits. I ended up wearing the New Zealand kit because somebody gave that to me, which was quite interesting because I was wearing an all-black kit in the middle of three, so it was super hot, right? But it was a lot of fun. We had a really quick shoot time. I had a mimosa that they had with
Why are they doing this stuff? What's going on with that?
So what they're doing is, in participation with Soccer in the Streets, they're selling these things called passports at the actual Midway Pub. And so when you go there, you buy a passport. The passport's $10. But you collect these stamps, and depending on whichever country you get, if the country wins or things like that, you get discounts and stuff going on with that. So
it's like bingo, passport bingo.
Yeah, it's like
drinking
passport bingo.
It's
drinking passport bingo. So it's absolutely incredible. If you get a chance, you should definitely head to Midway. They're going to be doing all of the Women's World Cup games. They're going to be huge crowds there. Go get your passport. And by the way, which I think is one of the coolest things about the passport, is you don't get to choose your team. They gave you this bin of passports, and you literally it's the luck of the draw.
So you could end up with Team USA, but you could also end up with Team
Scotland.
China, Team Scotland, Team nobody.
Team that has no clear-cut chance of winning. It's the risk you take. But in the reality, you're paying and you're supporting for Soccer in the Streets.
And that's what matters. I can't wait to get into the Women's World Cup. I think it's going to be so competitive.
It's going to be the best. It's going to be the best Women's World Cup you've ever seen.
And there's going to be teams like Thailand coming out of nowhere with some superstar players.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be. There's going to be the old guard, of course, like the United States and Brazil and China and Norway and Germany, but
and England
and France and England. There's so many good teams. There's so many good teams.
And then in terms of some other stuff, Byron Ryan, if you don't know who he is.
Ryan Gibson, our man from South Carolina.
Ryan Gibson has a very popular sort of blog that he does, Facebook site on Bayern Munich, as well as his Instagram has tens and tens of thousands of followers. And he spent some time in Germany, met all his sort of favorite icons.
Yeah, he got to spend a lot of time with
Germany
with Frank Ribery.
Well, he then came to Atlanta, and Devon and I were able to get him hooked up with some seating, and then he was able to, thanks to Chicago Fire, meet Schweinsteiger at the event. So that was pretty cool to see him at the tailgate and hanging out. And I don't have his social media account in front of me, so
it's Bayern_Ryan.
Bayern_Ryan.
Yeah.
So go check him out, especially if you're a fan of Bayern Munich. You want it from an American take, and he's of German heritage. So
he's an international ambassador too, and literally a wealth of there's not a plastic fan by any
a historian.
A historian of the club, and also too a survivor of ocular melanoma was the cancer that he had. Distracted driving.
So
somebody hit him and I believe broke both of his legs and did some damage to his knees.
He's been through a lot. So
he's definitely been through a lot. He's a Navy veteran. He's a great guy. I love you, Ryan, and I was glad that not only were you able to meet Frank Ribery and be there for them to win not only the Bundesliga title but also the Deutsche Pokal. because the team took them to Berlin for that match. For us to be able to make what we made happen with Atlanta United and Chicago Fire. Shout out to Jamie Chin and Nicole Hack from Chicago Fire.
Absolutely.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt Moore from Atlanta United, for your help as well.
Cheers, Prost. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And Bastian Schweinsteiger, thank you for taking the time. Dax McCarty as well, apparently.
And so I think WrestleMania is next up on the list for Ryan. So we'll have to get that done. So, guys, in case you don't know, we are an uncensored, self-deprecating soccer lifestyle podcast and content creation team with myself, Kelly Francis, and Jessica Charman, and we're focused on covering Atlanta soccer. Its supporters culture, you name it, including player highlight videos, doing music videos, vlogs, all that fun stuff, and we'll talk about some of that stuff here coming up.
Bar mitzvahs, tailgates, quinceañeras.
You need us, we're there.
You need us to DJ for you.
You want to have a birthday party for your dog?
I don't know why
worries.
I did that in an accent.
Kelly will DJ, and Jay will be the Zoltan security man.
Yeah, just the fee is a bottle of wine and a Coke Zero.
Don't say that.
We're cheap dates. So to recap, Devon, like I said, alluded to earlier, having you on is convenient because we all went, along with Tanner McLeod from Atlanta United Fan TV as well,
yes, sir.
Went up to New York City for the New York Red Bulls match. We flew up there on a Friday. Kelly got there before us on a Thursday. She was crashing in Brooklyn. We got an Airbnb in Harlem. And we documented that entire adventure, everything from meeting up with the Cooligans in their studio.
The entire adventure, all 750 gigs.
Yeah, 750 gigabytes of footage.
We could have made a movie, but we decided not to do that.
A lot of 16-hour days, and then another 5 or 6 hours for me doing some stuff after that, copying footage and all that every day.
It was literally like coffee and naps for Jay, but no, it was amazing, man. It was an opportunity to show a traveling perspective, kind of like if you get a trip dropped in your lap.
Yeah.
Like somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, we're going to New York for the game on Sunday, but we get there on Friday. So what do you want to do?"
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I thought that the way that we were able to shoot that and shoot everything and just have so much fun and see everything and the love that we were shown. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I mean, there's so many people to thank. So
yeah, well, I mean, let's talk about it. So we met with the Cooligans up Madison Square Garden. We had a tremendous.
Which, by the way, how cool is that we get to talk about soccer at the top of Madison Square Garden?
I mean, it's great.
You do the walk in, and it's totally legit. I mean, it's OG podcast,
yes.
Cumulus Radio Network,
huge studios, cameras, lights.
It's always cool when you walk into a place and your name's on the list, and they print out a card with your face on it. And then you walk through I don't know. Security. I mean, it's the little things that that make life special. But I mean, shout out to Christian and Alexis. That was just the beginning of the weekend with them.
Yeah.
But that podcast with the fans in the crowd and the energy was awesome.
There must have been at least 12 or 13 people in the studio.
5 clubs represented.
Not just Atlanta United, people from Seattle, Sounders fans, NYCFC, all across the board.
So there's a Sporting Kansas City fan there.
Yes, there
was. So thank you guys for coming out, those of you who were up there and attended, because it made us feel really great, and I hope you enjoyed the show as well. We thought it was a lot of fun, and it was the very first live broadcast that the Cooligans have ever done.
Yes.
And shout out to our fans that made the trip from Atlanta. There were several in the audience, that made the trip up and that saw it. I mean, I know there's people that came from Hoboken.
They could be doing anything in Manhattan that day or wherever, and they
shout
chose
out to Ren, because she definitely came from Hoboken.
They chose to come out and hang out with us losers up in Madison Square Garden, just hanging out with those losers.
Living the best life.
But then we went straight from there to to just being able to explore, to see the Flatiron Building and
pizza
Washington
tour,
Square Park and the pizza tour.
With Alexis Guerreros. E from High Press Podcast, the New York Red Bulls podcast, was gracious host. He come and stopped by.
I mean, that man was a godsend. Literally just...
He drove us to the gate.
We didn't have to path train.
We were going to take the train with all of our equipment and stuff.
Shout out to you, E.
Let's not forget that we got to tour the MLS studios.
That's right.
Like AT&T
Paul
MLS
Salazar.
Studios.
See, like we were saying, there are so many names and so many people to thank, because it was all love. It was like we went up there with some ideas and some phone calls, and we turned it into an amazing, like I said, 3/4 of a terabyte experience.
It was really incredible though, and people didn't get to really see this, but Jay found something really kind of cool. Well, I found it, and then I showed Jay because I was super excited about it. Do you want me to reveal that, or are you going to share that experience?
I don't know what you're talking about, so go ahead and reveal it.
The pillows.
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
I was snooping around their stock room, right? Because that's what I do.
They had like a prop area.
Yeah. And then Tanner picked up the Seath?
Yeah. Well, he got the scythe, and he also got the two soccer balls. Remember, he brought, this was at MLS Studios for those of you that are still listening. He brought out the Red Bulls and the Atlanta United soccer ball for the staging, and I believe you saw the scythe, and it was like
the guy. By the way, guys, the scythe is what the Grim Reaper holds. That's what
was it Warshaw or
Doyle? Matt
Doyle
dressed up as the Grim Reaper during Halloween,
yeah.
And so there's a going thing here that because Tanner touched the scythe, that he's cursed.
Yes, which is very
His
interesting.
As a Manchester United fan, I guess he's already cursed.
Yeah,
so
he's already been cursed for many years.
Yeah.
So basically, I was messing through their stock room after Tanner already messed through it, and I found the infamous soccer pillows that Jay was so obsessed with, and I pulled him over, and I was like, you can't look at it yet until you've got your camera up, and we can
film
record
the
your
reaction. We want the first take reaction.
But we kept having some little bits in here and there, like the dolly wouldn't move the way we wanted to, so we had to hold this pillow for almost 15 minutes.
Everything was falling apart. Like, we had not slept for a day and a half, and everything was just falling apart.
It's also one of those things too.
Those are the things you don't see in the video.
No, not at all.
The best part, some of the behind the scenes stuff, like the eating the German food while trying to find MLS Studios, which is not in the same building as MLS
the headquarters. It's like a hidden building. Yeah.
It's like we go to one place and you're not on the list, and you're calling people and they're telling you to come up, and it's just like
you're like, where though? But where? And then also the pictures that were not shared of but all of us doing the alternate gender Snapchat filters, which God. I gotta say, Tanner is one handsome woman.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting look for him.
We had the whole breakdown with how feminine Christian Polanco looks, and
feminine,
and then how masculine.
Yeah, the Cooligans started that whole thing in that whole studio experience. And you can go to their Facebook page and watch the live video if you missed it of us as well. But to go with the soccer pillows, so if you don't know, last year there was a period where they had a studio set up with a couch, and they had these two pillows on there regularly for maybe 4 or 5 episodes, and it was a green pillow, and it had the entire soccer pitch on it, and it looked like a soccer pitch. I called them the soccer pillows, then they just disappeared, and Bobby Warshaw would sit with that pillow and caress it while he's giving analysis. And
this was you finding the lamp, like Aladdin did.
Yeah, and I was like, "What did you do?" And they would never respond. I never saw the soccer pillows again. And they were sitting on top of the prop area.
Yeah, they were
they weren't even hidden away.
They were not hidden. I easily found them.
So the soccer pillows exist. I did not steal them. I was a gentleman. I didn't want to.
I'm quite amazed they weren't somewhere in a cammer bag. Whoops! I left a lens cap, but I took 2 pillows. Yeah. Damn. But you did lose a follower over your exuberance. Got to watch that language.
So
Jay.
Oh yes.
That's right. Those goddamn soccer pillows. Watch your language,
Jay.
Unfollowed. So ultimately what we did is we collected all that footage and in 6 days put together an edit and then published it to a new channel called 4Real Sports. That's the number 4 Real Sports. It's also available at 4realsports.com.
Yep.
And you can follow its social media on Twitter and Instagram as 4Real Sports. And we got a very warm reception. I think it's up to 880 views, which isn't bad for considering the channel is brand new. There's no
starting
subscriptions.
from nothing, and everything is organic. We reached out to people directly. We
shared it on Unrelegated. Late Night Fan TV shared it. It's all been put out there. So all organic, and we think people have really enjoyed it. I think a lot of people commented that I originally saw that it was 17 minutes long and thought it might drag, but it didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's obviously the ultimate compliment.
Yeah. There's a lot of misnomers out there. There's a lot of stuff where I think people are used to consuming content in these little 8-minute Copa videos or whatever, and we even went against some industry sort of advice to cut it down even further.
There were people saying to make it 3 days.
To make it 3 episodes.
Do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we wanted to tell a story. We wanted to tell it in a way where we aren't the center focus, really. Right. Outside of each of us popping in to kind of set the stage of what we're about to do, it's a lot of the back of our heads, to be honest. It's a lot about the people we're interviewing, and it's to kind of so you can slot yourself in there in the video and experience it with us. And so that was the whole idea behind this concept.
Well, when we were developing the concept, it was kind of always my vision that, like I said, you get a trip dropped on your lap on Thursday, you leave Friday. You land, the game's not until Sunday. What are we going to do?
Right.
You know, I love Travel Channel. I love the Anthony Bourdain style. I love Food Network. You know,
and we covered it all. We had food. We covered pizza. We had some entertainment, some comedy. We had some great banter with E. From a High Press podcast.
There's stuff we left out, like at
so
the
much.
Second Avenue Deli, you know, Tanner eating his first pastrami on rye. You know, I mean, there's so much.
We could have made a 45-minute episode.
And see, that's the thing that I love about you know, shooting the way that we did is who's to say that we won't drop other stuff from that, you know. And there's the opportunity for, you know, there's the opportunity for deep cuts, for extended cuts, for producers edits, you know, for fans that are really into it. We have it. And, you know, we hope to bring you a lot more of it from other cities, from other places, from other leagues, from other countries.
And that's why this other brand has been created, is it's not going to be pigeonholed to soccer or Major League Soccer. There could be other opportunities to span across the sports world and do similar things from a fan perspective.
Right.
So as much as I enjoy some of the Copa stuff, at the end of the day, you know, sure, the folks that are up there are fans, but it's commercial at the end of the day. It's produced in a way that I feel is very rushed at times because they have certain commitments they have above them to make certain you know views and all these things, and so they have to package it a certain way, and we don't have those constraints, so we can make a 17 minute video if we want.
And I think
we want people to watch it and enjoy it.
I think the difference between what I feel watching a Copa and what I feel watching what we make for 4Real is that you're looking at Copa and the videos that they do is you're watching the personalities experience this. You're not actually watching fans experience it, and there's a difference. And I've talked to many people when they've watched this video, they're like, it feels like I'm there with you, that you are also a fan, and that we're experiencing this entire thing together. And that's the point of this, is to show and experience the fandom from each sport, from each league. Period.
That tailgate at Red Bull's Arena, it gets no realer. There were people that were not happy that we were there.
Yeah.
And there were people that were like, hey, come eat some skirt steak with us.
There were some guys that took a while to warm up to.
Yeah.
But once we did, it was great.
Yeah. Shout out to Tony with the killer Tesla.
Got the old guy go, what's that camera on there for all the time? And I'm like, hey, you know, this is what you deal with. You know, this is just, hey, respect it. You know, this is their territory. So
absolutely. And that's the kind of thing that we want to show is you know, 4Real is, you know, that's what we want to bring. We want to bring the real experience. You know, not every game day experience is going to be rosy. There are fans that don't like you treading on their territory. Yeah. So, you know,
we had a lot of people yelling at us. That you know,
after the game.
After the game, we had a lot of people yelling at us.
I think we were told Atlanta should burn down, and I'm like
multiple times.
I'm like, sir,
sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yes, calm down. You won.
The best part was the fan cam afterwards when Tanner was doing his thing, and the guy in the back's just like, every time Tanner starts to talk to guys, like, oh, oh.
I mean, we get that with a truck horn in our own tailgate. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, guys. Check
Shout
it out.
Out to Truckhorn guy.
4Real Sports, 4realsports.com, and let us know what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And yeah, let's recap the match, guys. Chicago Fire, Atlanta United, another brace by Joseph Martinez, 2-0. Joseph gets his second brace in like 140-some minutes. He's now had 9 goals in 10 matches. That's 10 in 15 matches, which is tied third in the Golden Boot race, just below. He's in third, just below Zlatan.
And Carlos Vela, of course,
not tied anymore. Yeah, he tied when he scored the first goal. Now he's in third.
4 goals in a week.
You know, not bad, right?
I mean, you know, and granted, the Iko Paro one was somewhat of a gift, but you still got to finish him.
And by the way, can I just say that made me very happy, like inside, because he shoved Miles Robinson
into the
back for no reason.
For no reason.
And then later with that stupid donut on his head, just donut balled it right to Joseph.
And Joseph kind of looks up as like, okay.
Did you see the video, by the way? Alpara, by the way, is a very he's a cool guy. Like he's
very talented center back as well.
Yeah, and he didn't take it personally.
It was a mind lapse.
He did. There was a video of him at training ground. They were trying like pineapple or pickles or something, and he was eating it, and the guy was like, how is it? And he says, it tastes like it's been dipped in rum, the kind that Joseph's drinking right now. And that alludes to a comment that Kevin Egan had during the broadcast, which is that Joseph Martinez, or after the goal, said that it was a gift, just like a good glass of rum. Or
that was placed in front of you that you didn't have to order.
So obviously Opara saw that comment. He gave it a shout out, and so props to him for doing that. That was really cool.
Now there was something that he has started to do. Remember, his celebration used to be the stare down,
and then the cigarette,
and then the cigarette, and now he's doing the bow, and
the cigarette. It's like combined.
Well, he talks about the king. He talks about the king. Bows before his people. Now, here is my challenge to the supporters group: if he scores another goal at home and bows, if we bow back, that's going to be ridiculous.
That would be dope.
That would
especially if he scores in front of the supporters.
If the whole supporter section were to bend the knee right back, I think that.
But here's the thing: just because I'm in the supporter section, bending a knee is quite hard to do.
Turn to the side. Hey, I'm one section next to you, and I took a knee during the Canadian national anthem in solidarity.
We go to the supporter section, and we can all get down, crouched up, and we can then jump.
Or if it's like just a general bowing where you just bow your front half, your top half.
I think if everybody just crouches, that's all you need. Because the effect will be there. Just crouch. You don't have to do the whole knee thing. Just crouch.
But is it when he's facing us or in general?
Well, as soon as he goes to his knee.
As soon as he goes to his knee, if the entire supporter section went to theirs.
Can you imagine?
Down. But I agree with
what is your problem with the kneeling?
Well, hold on. Let me finish before you interrupt me. My Lord.
Tell us what you mean.
If he's bowing and he's on the opposite side where the supporter section is, the impact will not be as great. If he's facing the supporter section when he scores, where it's at the goal on the side of the supporter section, then yes, I absolutely understand that.
Yeah.
So that's the difference that I'm saying right now. Like, I love this idea. I absolutely love this idea. It's a matter of what side he scores from.
If he does it on the other side, like, can we not coordinate some people?
No, there's no way. They're so uncoordinated over there. There's no communication between that.
Okay, well, the idea is implanted. So
it'd be dope if people just did it organically. Just people
it would be dope.
So guys,
I'm also looking at some girls right here that could really help out with that supporter section bit. So like, we'll hit them up on that.
Awesome.
So 8 clean sheets, guys.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's raking in the dough.
That's right. Yeah,
they really are.
Guzan's making that money for.
Hey man, that's $16,000.
$16,000.
You know what's ironic though? I was looking.
That's like aspirin and tubing for one uninsured person.
I was looking up Guzan's.
They're being like, oh my god, I didn't expect him to be this good this season. Damn.
So I was looking up Guzan's, stats because I was like, man, that's a lot of clean sheets. But it doesn't feel like he's been working that hard. You know, he's had some amazing saves. Don't get me wrong.
It doesn't feel like he's been working that.
No, but here's the stats. So ironically, he's 18th in total saves.
Right.
Like, our defense has been doing such a stellar job that he hasn't had to save that many shots. But he is 6th in save percentage with around 73% of shots saved. So, I mean, I'm not lying. Like, he hasn't been that busy. Like, in terms of teams that have had shots on target, we've had a lot of teams that have fluffed great opportunities in front of goal. I think we've gotten lucky several times. Those are not all like clean sheets like, oh yeah, they didn't even have a chance. Like, no, these are...
If Kellen Acosta and Keith Kamara could shoot, it would be 2-1.
There were some games where I was like, wow, we got really lucky that we got a clean sheet in that. But at the end of the day, they were clean sheets.
If they do goal line review on the Brad triple save.
Gatai got really close.
Gatai got really close.
He hit right at Guzan.
The header right at Guzan was really close. He always scares me for them sheets.
Gatai is
so good.
Dangerous. And they need to use him more. I feel like they resourced
Mihalovic didn't really do anything.
No.
And Nikolic was not...
It was not a good game for them.
He didn't have any pace.
And playing Schweinsteiger as a center back will never make sense to me.
As Tanner said, as he was sitting next to me during the game, in the first 10 minutes, he pointed at the back line while they had a high line while we had possession starting off in the back. And he said, would you look at that? They have one guy marking Joseph.
Yeah.
One guy.
And it was Schweinsteiger.
And they were punished for that, obviously, during the game. And it was like, what is the coach doing? What is Popovich doing?
So it was like the reverse of his intro in away days. What are they doing?
There's no pay.
Yes.
That's great. We got it.
Which is such a great line.
It's great. Joseph got another brace. We got another clean sheet. It's another win. But at the same time, can we play Chicago every fucking week?
No.
Right?
No.
Because I'm really tired of playing these teams that have 3 freaking defenders against Joseph all the time.
Because I feel like we've been gifted. I feel like we were gifted in a lot of ways that win by just the sheer shitty tactics of Chicago Fire.
Well, yeah, but they came to play, but which was the exact opposite of what Red Bulls did, which was the exact opposite of what Real Salt Lake did.
But you can play with the right players and play with some more pace up front, and he didn't do that. He just decided to go with Nikolic, who's a poacher.
Right.
It's just not going to work.
And one center back.
Yeah.
I'll do
so. more drinks are flowing.
Sorry, yes. I had to order another glass of champagne just because I was so excited. Joseph had 4 goals in 1 week.
So now that you kind of mentioned, I think in your fan cam, you broke it up into 2 halves.
Yeah, we're like quarters. Yeah, it's basically like
the season.
We went 1, 3, and 2 in our first 6, and then we went 6 and 2 in our next 8. So the season is, we're 14 matches in. The season's 34 matches long, so it's not quite yet half, but you're basically there.
Yeah.
But there's this big international break. We also have games in hand, which is crazy because of the scheduling. It feels
we
like
got 2 games in hand.
From 2 games in hand.
From DC, who's first in the league.
And then
right
one
point
from,
above us.
And then one from Philly, I think.
Right. And Philly's a team that nobody's talking about. So, I mean, it's kind of like they've just managed to quietly go along and beat
Well, hold
people.
on, though, because they haven't been talking about Atlanta either, other than when they've been doing bad.
Right, but I think
it's a weird section right now with MLS with the way that they're reporting. It's talking about
LAFC.
I also think other than LAFC, everybody's been so inconsistent. I mean, all the teams in the league with this crazy travel schedule before the international break, we've been hit with the most miles, but there have been other teams that have suffered as well. And
you saw Cincinnati was sitting there like waiting on a flight and 22 hours before kickoff, still sitting in the airport.
So there's still issues in that arena, but. We'll talk about some of the other stats in a second here, but some other interesting things that came out of that match. Joseph Martinez, Miles Robinson, and Frank de Boer were named to the Team of the Week, and Joseph named Player of the Week. This is the kind of stuff we're used to seeing. Except felt like for a while there, other than Barco, like we just weren't getting guys on the Team of the Week or anything like that. And we were just used to every single week last season where we had somebody, and it's been Vela.
Well, I think some of our defenders have also been somewhat disrespected a little bit.
LGP has not been good early in the season.
I'm talking about you never see Eric Rometti in the Team of the Week, and he does
his work.
He's like Lucas
Same with
Torreira
Nagbe.
and N'Golo
Nagbe
Kante.
doesn't get as much credit as he should either.
You never hear the guys who don't put up
that's
stats.
why. Yeah, I mean you don't see those defensive midfielders in the Team of the Week very often unless they're putting up an assist.
No, because they're going to put up a Rusnak or a Mihalovic or somebody that's going to actually put in it's an attacking league, and we know that. But defense has shown. How do I put this? We have 14 goals from 13 games, and then we went on this 2-match winning streak. But it was like our defense is best in the league, second best in the league, something right up there at the top.
With Parkhurst as left back.
Yeah,
yes.
and Breck Shea deputizing, and Mikey Ambrose hoping to come back and play some more minutes. I mean, like we've been able to overcome offensive inefficiencies by playing great defense, and that's the emergence of Miles Robinson. And let's be 100% honest, that's Escobar coming back.
Yeah.
Escobar has been a tank, and he's scoring goals for you now, which is if we can get playoff Escobar all the time, we're dangerous.
Now,
what if playoff Escobar just is Escobar?
Then you've got a really expensive problem.
We got to see that. Let's see that consistency now that he's healthy. The other thing, guys, is who hasn't been in any MLS Player of the Week or Team of the Week and just got his first assist, regular season assist. P.T. Martinez had a moment of magic there. Slotted in Joseph. That's the kind of penetration we've been looking for from him.
Wow.
Oh, and it was a tiki-taka situation, too, where there was some actual great
it was a team goal.
Franco Escobar, Pity Martinez, and Joseph Martinez.
Awesome team goal.
Yeah, very much so.
A lot of involvement.
Probably the best team goal of the season so far up to this point.
Yeah.
To where the connection was there from the right to the center, back across to the left to Joseph. Perfect finish.
Yeah.
So, again, we see the moments. I feel like he's still in second gear.
Yes. The team is still playing slow.
And he, if he starts to really get hot, and this 3-week break will give him some time. I don't think that's going to be a bad thing necessarily. I know more playing time that helps with your playing with the guys and training. But I mean, it's been a tough run here.
He's not going to sit. Joseph's not going to sit during the Gold Cup. I mean, like Venezuela's. He's going to be.
But we're talking about Pity right now.
I'm talking about Pity.
I thought we were talking about Joseph. I'm sorry.
I got to tell you, with Pity in general, whenever I rewatch the games, he has some amazing moments of brilliance. Like, in particular, I can't remember what it led up to. I think it was just a cross to Pereira, but he crossed the entire. He did a cross from right to left from a switch. And it was so perfectly timed in the run of Pereira that you see these moments where he is on point and he is at that sharpness. And I feel like right now he is a light bulb where the fuse isn't fully touching at the moment.
It reminded me of Barco last year, where you would see moments and then you'd get frustrated because he'd fall down you'd run into 3 guys, and the funny thing is that the clip that'll make it out is a nutmeg, but then 3 seconds later he's running into a damn defender and falling over.
Correct.
And it's like, fuck your nutmeg. Get the ball.
Get the ball to somebody.
But he's trying things, and hopefully his momentum. The only thing I care about is he progressing, and he seems to continue to progress.
Right.
Getting an assist is very important. Hopefully that helps with his frame of mind. And and now he's got this break, and hopefully that helps with his fitness, and we can see him come back fresh, because I just feel like it's just a matter of time, and hopefully he heats up in time for the playoffs.
Well, he also looks at home out on the wing.
Yeah.
So once Barco slots back,
right,
and
they can switch more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop thinking of him as a 10, and I beg that of everybody. Like everybody that looks at him because he wears the 10 shirt.
But Frank uses him as a 10.
Frank calls him a 10
because Barco's not here.
But Frank's system doesn't really have a traditional 10.
Right.
He used him as a 10 even when Barco was here.
But that's what I'm saying. I see PT's best position out on the wing, and I see Barco as a better facilitator. Barco always wants to cut from the wing to the middle, whereas PT likes the ball out wide. He likes to take people on. It's very difficult to take on multiple defenders in the center of the pitch.
You rarely see him in the middle receiving the balls. Typically, he's there. He's passing it from the middle, and then you'll see him cut from outside a lot of times. Like you said, that whole situation that was created was him cutting in from the outside, right?
Exactly. So if the ball goes wide to an Escobar and then
he likes running
back,
across that defense.
Yeah.
He's not the guy, because he likes to get the ball at his feet and then take on defenders. So,
right. Whereas Miguel just wanted to run past people.
Right.
PT likes to beat people and then find the perfect. It's
right.
It's people are going to slay me for saying this, but I love watching Mesut Ozil in his prime because he could pick out that perfect pass.
But that's what
PT
like
can be.
Ozil, there'll be times where you feel like he disappears during the match,
or his body language is off, so it looks like he's not working.
And so I think that's a great comparison actually, because he's a genius, but there are times where you're pulling out your hair, going like, where'd he go? You know?
And also when Ozil's not fit, you can obviously tell it as well.
You can tell.
Yeah.
And the expectation level is as high on
absolutely.
So I definitely see the comparisons there, and my hope for PT is that the time off is time spent, working with the people that you can get in the training ground. If you can, work on those free kicks are so close.
I know.
Like he's so close on. There's been ones where he's hit the post. There's been ones where he's gone just wide. There's been, balls in that LGP's just missing, or so it's the timing is just a millisecond off, and that just comes with work.
The chemistry across the team is still not there yet. There's still improvements that need to be made, clearly. And it didn't help that Gressel was completely run into the ground last few games.
He looked so tired.
He just could not.
That last pass that he gave to Joseph for the midweek game against Minnesota, he gave everything he could on that pass, because you could see after he did that, he was gassed.
Yeah.
Well, there's some legs that have been run to nubs. They were saying, like, LGP's only missed 10 minutes on the season. Gressel has played in all 90 and something like 80% of the matches. So, I mean, you're talking about guys, and there wasn't a whole lot of squad rotation. Dion Pereira coming on has given us a lift, but also Dion Pereira is now playing minutes because of the absence of Tito Villalba.
Right.
So there's a give and a take in every situation, and we're basically left with guys that are run into the ground because you don't have Mikey Ambrose and you don't have
international
Kevin
break
Kratz.
Is coming at such a perfect time. So
right.
It really is, though.
Well, the Gold Cup coming up, too. We need to hopefully see some squad rotation, and there's some players like a Florentin Pogba and like an Andrew Carlton or an Alec Can or a Gallagher or Gordon Wild. I mean, there's so many players.
The Open Cup, you mean?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's so many players that I feel like that are fringe first team. Romario Williams, like Andrew Carlson, all these players that are fringe first teamers. I would love to see them play the Open Cup. I got a little slated for saying that I don't value it, but it's all leading up to what the CBA does for Champions League. Because if you win Open Cup and you can get to Champions League, I understand that that's the goal, and if you can somehow be the first MLS team to win Champions League and then go on to the Club World Cup, that would be a great platform. But in the current situation, playing in Champions League for an MLS team on a salary cap is not beneficial with no preseason.
Where's the carrot?
Yeah, what's the carrot?
We're getting wiped out, and then our teams are suffering in the regular season.
Yeah.
Well, we're playing on, like I said, like on a cricket pitch in the Dominican Republic, in February with 1 week of training against Cal State Fullerton.
And that's supposed to be the end-all, be-all, right?
Right.
Like, here's your holy grail. It's I don't know about that.
That's what the hope is like, for me in the new collective bargaining agreement, I know we're getting a little off topic here, but my hope in the new collective bargaining agreement is that somebody can go to Scotia's Bank and somebody can go to CONCACAF and say, listen, look at how UEFA does the Champions League. They started in what, like October, and it just ended. So we don't have to cram these matches into this schedule and just jam everything tight. Like Mexico has 2 set up leagues. The Apertura and I forget the second.
That's all right. We don't
now they're starting another tournament.
Yay!
So it's never ending. The money grabs are ridiculous.
Right.
Let's take a second. We haven't done one of these in a while, guys. We're gonna bust open Mike Conti's treasure chest.
What?
You sound like a dead parrot. It's a dying parrot.
I haven't done that in a very long time. So it's a little.
It is no more.
It's a little rusty. So it's a.
Goodness. Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to edit that out.
Not that bad.
I'm gonna have to break everybody's ears. Apologies, listeners. So as far as open play goals in 2018, Atlanta United had 21 open play goals in 16 matches. In 15 matches, they've had 17. So clearly, offensively, much different team. But we were definitely not getting clean sheets on the road or anywhere to speak of as much as we were last.
We've also gotten the same. I know. Thank you.
Score.
We are level right now on the amount of shutouts that we've had from last year all season.
Yeah, all right.
As to where we are now.
Yeah, and what is it that every now and then some grizzly guy will come in my timeline and be like, stop complaining about the lack of goals. Defense wins playoffs. Defense wins championships. I'm like, we're not in the playoffs.
Good Lord.
Let's calm down. Can we have goals and 2? Like, is that so hard to ask for?
Walk and chew gum. We can do both.
And Joseph's been putting them in, so great.
You're asking too much,
I know.
honestly.
I love when people throw a cliche at you like you've never heard it before. Like, thank you, sir. I'll have to look that one up. I wasn't aware of that whole
you just got to keep giving 100%. We just work hard as a team and
give 100%.
put in 100% effort and make sure that everybody gives it their all.
Always appreciate your feedback. Points over, if we look at points earned over the last 9 matches in Major League Soccer, Atlanta have 21, New York Red Bulls 19, LAFC 18.
Suck it.
So that's pretty good. Also, Atlanta United has just completed a stretch of 8 matches in 28 days. They earned 18 of a possible 24 points. They did so with arguably their best player, Barco, out for those 7 matches. That's a Kelly nod, right?
And Tito was out for 4 of them, or 3 or 4 of them,
Tito was out for 2 of them.
Everything after Red Bulls.
Yeah, he was out for 2 of them.
Right.
Wait, no, he missed at least 3 because he missed Real Salt Lake and then he missed the 2 home matches, Minnesota and Chicago.
He was out for 3.
Yeah. And then they traveled 10,400.
Way to ruin it.
They traveled 10,482 air miles over that stretch, which is roughly halfway around the globe, and most of it commercial, outside of a couple charters.
Yes, and we actually had an experience where we got to talk to an Atlanta United player in New York.
He got held behind for some stuff he had to do, and we ran into Breck, or I should say Breck shouted at us.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Devin, Jay, what's up?
Yeah, guys, what's up? And I was like, holy cow, we didn't even see him. So thankfully he stood up and waved at us, and we went over there and hung out.
But it was crazy to see.
I should say Devin hung out. I was stuck on the phone the whole damn time.
Well, yeah, it was crazy to see, and know that we mentioned it earlier. Cincinnati sitting in an airplane, in an airport 22 hours before their kickoff, waiting on a plane, knowing that these guys, this charter rule at 4 legs per season, not 4 full flights, not home and away. Like flying to Vancouver is one of your 4 legs.
Yep.
That's just insane. Like it's a relic of an old system. The league has grown leaps and bounds since '96. There needs to be some modernization. I really hate seeing a 6'5" player in coach, in a middle seat.
The thing that bothers me with that is that we look at these leagues, right, who have chartered flights, and yeah, it is absolutely a luxury. But what you also have to realize is that in America, they're flying longer distances than they are in Europe,
right?
And than they are in Spain.
There was a rage that just happened.
In England, they take a coach bus everywhere for the most part.
Well, there was a rage that just happened because Arsenal and Chelsea played in Baku, Azerbaijan, which is roughly 2,600 miles from London.
Yeah,
that there was not many direct flights. There's all these. Well, that's less than at Orlando to Vancouver.
Yeah,
yes.
And we do that. We do those trips
and similar human rights records as Orlando. So.
Oh wow, Jay.
High five.
But I mean that's 100% something that's on the collective bargaining agreement that's up for talks, and it should be, in my opinion, that is something that should be given over to the owners.
Don Garber came out publicly and said that this is something that is important and they will address.
It has to happen.
In the CBA because it's clear that that they want to give Inter Miami all the possible advantages.
Good Lord.
When they come into the league.
Did you
finally.
see the rumor today? And
about
this is
Suarez?
About Suarez and Messi.
Yeah.
Well, I've already seen the one about. There's always one about Messi.
Well, the thing about it is, everything that I hear from them is that they're gonna do everything in their power to become a feeder with Barcelona or become a partner club with Barcelona, which, whatever. If we can have, I guess they'll be the LA Galaxy of the East Coast. And just find whatever rules they can break to bring in as many players as possible.
We have to make sure we unlock all those charters for David Beckham's team.
But the thing is, they won't even play in Miami. They're enter Fort Lauderdale.
The minute they pull Iniesta over from the Chinese Super League, you've got me. 100% I've changed. Iniesta's my man. I will change for him.
First of all, the $1 billion are paying him. He's going to play there for the rest of his retirement.
Yeah, good Lord.
As he should, because he's
until
worth
he's
it.
40 years old. If we look at some news and in general, Atlanta United news, looking at the Academy, the Atlanta United Academy U14s won the 2019 Man City Cup International Super
That was
Group.
awesome.
That was a great game.
Lifted the cup, more silverware. Looking at you, Orlando.
And it was also slightly revenge.
Well, and the Youth Academy, too.
That was
we're
right.
killing it on all levels.
Was that what again?
Monterey. They beat Monterey.
They beat Monterey. So good on that. The poor Monterey kids, man, they were
They were
devastated.
crying.
They were
absolutely
devastated.
Crying.
I feel no shame. Get out of here, you damn kids. All right, so there were 13 Atlanta United Academy players that joined D1 NCAA soccer programs this year. So now there have been NCAA D1 athletes in 3 years.
And we're talking big programs like Maryland, NC State, Penn State, Cal, Mercer.
There's something like 31 players now over the last few years or something like that, 30 plus that have gone to D1 programs. And then also the U.S. Soccer Development Academy regular season is over. Atlanta United's U17s and 19s are playoff bound after both shutting out the North Carolina Fusion squads. U15s also shut them out, but it wasn't enough. They had lost too many matches before then. But the U17s and 19s are going to the playoffs, and that championships will be from the July 8th to the 11th in Orange County, Great Park in California.
Shout out to Tony and everybody over there.
And you know it'll be streamed.
Yeah, it would definitely be streamed.
So look forward to that next month. John Gallagher and Julian Gressel also obtained their green cards, opening up 2 international slots.
Heck yes.
We waived Anderson Asiedu.
And we waived Asiedu, which was the next bullet point. You psychic son of a bitch. And if we look at what came out from Atlanta United prospects, they said it's worth noting that Anderson Asiedu was taking up a reserve roster slot.
Correct.
So even though there's 2 open international slots, we'd probably have to move a senior roster player in order to add a player making more than the near minimum salary when the transfer window opens. So the other 5 players on reserve roster slots, in case you're wondering, are Bello, Carlton, Goslin, Kunga, and Pereira, although Kunga is loaned out right now, so I don't know if he's taking up a slot anymore.
I think it still counts even if he's loaned out.
I don't know how that works, yeah. I'll just go with what Kelly says. Kelly's the expert.
You're welcome.
If not, at Kelly Francis, send your venom her way.
Remember, Kelly, defenses win championships.
You just got to give it your all.
Barco is coming home after Argentina lost to Mali in a stunning defeat before we recorded this.
Argentinians on Mali?
And
is that what you just said?
That's right. And we have fans coming over. Secrets. Okay.
So many secrets.
All right.
So many secrets.
I'm glad we got that out of the way. So so that we can get to Barco coming home. Thank you very much.
Little boat.
You're welcome. I just wanted
the boat show.
I just wanted anticipation. I did that for you, Jay.
Yeah, they're looking over there. Photo op.
The boat show.
Love you. Thank you.
Barco has lit up this World Cup. It's unfortunate that we're not going to be able to see him continue. But I'm really
Hell no, boy! Come on home and put some bubble wrap on them legs. You know what I'm saying? Like do everything. Do everything in your power to come home.
Listen, he scored a goal in extra time to put Argentina up 2-1. He did everything he could. Their defense just kind of switched off, and Mali was able to tie it up and then win in penalty kicks.
Mali, so, look at Mali.
I mean,
can somebody explain to me why though they thought that it would be a smart idea to sub Barco off 3 minutes before
your best penalty kick taker?
Yeah. why that made any sense whatsoever.
I don't know.
It's Argentinian Football Association.
Who knows? But
they're kings of making
Argentina's
sense.
tournament struggles continue, even though Barco put in some special goals and assists for them during that tournament. He's on the radar. As you were saying, Kelly, you've been in some interesting Twitter discussions about what you think he'd be worth.
I have.
So if somebody came today and offered money, and we'd have to obviously give the rumor is 30% to Independiente, at least until the end of this year, where it may drop to 10% cut. But
in January,
I mean, what do you think we're talking about?
Right now,
yeah.
I don't
How much
think
is that boat worth?
the boat. I don't think has reached its apex yet. So I feel like you're probably not looking at a total double increase. So I don't think you're looking at 30 at the moment. That's my opinion on it.
Miguel Almiron was 21.5 million pounds
With
Right,
a lot of special
Yes.
dispensations.
Now he got those.
Yeah.
He
they stayed up.
They stayed up.
Yeah.
He hit the appearances.
But either way,
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody came along and said, "I'll give you $30 million."
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so I know that we talked about this because you're looking at the
I think
youth,
European
you're looking
club
at
would
the
see it as an
quality
investment.
and the fact that he has the ability to do a multitude of things that
His ceiling.
his ceiling
Period.
is higher, obviously, than Miguel's.
I think so.
I still think at this point in time right now that he hasn't gone further enough into a good season for MLS.
So he hasn't had enough of after last season.
Consistency
He hasn't been
for
consistent
this season.
long enough. You want to see more.
But these international tournaments, I'm sorry, they hold so much weight, and especially
Scouts are there, and they
at the opening of a transfer window, there are so many teams right now that are saying, I got to make a splash. I got to get somebody. I need a guy.
I'm looking at 25, maybe 28.
Okay,
which
so
we're not going to sell him for.
Which we wouldn't sell him for because
No.
we'd lose 30% of that off the top. Now, here's my question. If you have a selling club, or maybe not a selling club, a club that's going to have money from sales, that it may be looking to, offload a $100 million player, a €100 million player, and then turn around and replace him with 2 or 3 players, like an Atletico Madrid after a Griezmann sale. Is that a club that you fear for a Barco already coming out in the press saying they want to get younger talent? They're not looking to go like for like on Griezmann. Do you look at a player like Barco as somebody that could go to that level, or is he still, Miguel went to Newcastle, let's be 100% honest, not the top of the Premier League.
It's not.
And I don't think Barco could make it in the Premier League with his stature right now. I think he would be physically dominated by.
He would be eaten alive.
But yeah,
Although I think refs would protect him more than MLS referees do.
You're probably right, but I could see him flourishing in Spain. I could see him flourishing in France.
Yeah.
I could see him getting beat to all hell in England. I could see him getting beat to all hell in Germany.
Yes.
I think it'd be very good for his development if he stayed in MLS for a little while longer.
I just don't see him going during the summer transfer window. That's all I'm saying.
Not during the summer,
unless somebody
no.
came and
That is-
offered $60 million.
Well, that $60 million would become 42.
Right, exactly. So yeah, until that clause sets in, we're not
I agree.
giving our entire soul to Independiente.
And I think January is also too. If he's able to make a run and come back off this tournament and be consistent and play well, that's where you're going to get an Atletico Madrid, or
Right.
One of those. Maybe not top.
And he may
very,
get loaned,
very top,
and he may
top
even
tier.
get loaned out immediately.
Exactly.
I mean, he may get bought and then loaned out. We don't know.
Exactly. But I mean, you look at a team like Getafe making the Champions League. You know what I mean? Like there's teams that are gonna need players that are gonna be playing in Europe. You look at a team like Wolves, who's playing in the Europa League for the first time, in God knows how long. So they're gonna need to strengthen. So there will be teams that come for him. And I think, like you said, it just makes more economical sense to do it in January.
Some other information. So originally it looked like we might lose like 7 or 8 players, possibly to international duty. Now it looks like only Joseph is the only player we may lose in Copa America because Tito's injured.
Romario.
Tito's injured. And Romario is a reggae boy.
Okay, Romario.
I mean, we're not really losing Romario because he's not a starter, but I see what you're saying. But I'm just saying Romario is going.
And by the way, Kamar Lawrence put on his Instagram story that he is not happy with the Jamaican Federation at the moment. They're not getting the things they need down there. So
that's not good.
It's a complete shit show, apparently, and it's not the first time it's happened. So good luck to those guys. They deserve better. But we haven't seen the Gold Cup rosters, which may include Guzan or something like that. We know it's not going to include Miles Robinson. We have no hints that that's going to happen,
which is
wild
ridiculous
to me. But hey,
that doesn't make any sense. And to be honest, I love Brad for what he does for Atlanta United, but there's better younger goalkeepers. Zach Steffen.
But at this point in time, like even if you weren't planning on having Miles in your final roster, at least send him out. Give him a week to practice with you guys, see what he can do. At least get him in front of you, right? Like, why didn't Berhalter at least take that option?
Omar Gonzalez.
Who are the 4 center backs that are better than Miles Robinson?
Clearly Omar Gonzalez apparently, because that's who got called up. So what a fucking joke. All right, player and coach interviews, but we'll benefit from that, obviously, because he'll be able to rest up, and he needs it. Frank de Boer, there was an article from Leander Schalakens, I don't know how to say his name, I think he's also Dutch, at Yahoo Sports, revealing article on Frank de Boer and the perception of his rigidness versus the reality on the ground.
Which fun fact, it was written and they had that interview the day before the New York Red Bull match.
Interesting.
When we went up there.
Funfacts.com. And some quotes here, guys. So, quote-unquote, another adjustment for Frank de Boer, Recreativo to South Americans, of which United has 7, almost all of them key players. The last practice before a game should be loose and relaxing. They usually play a pickup game that's more about goofing off and lightening the mood than gaining sharpness. I hate it, de Boer says with his signature candor, but they love it. So what matters more? Another quote, de Boer, who speaks both English and Spanish, has taken a different approach than Martino, a charming Argentine who spoke no English and adhered to the South American traditions of keeping a distance from his players. During preseason, de Boer spends a lot of time playing cards and eating with his squad members. On the road, he tends to hang around the hotel lobby, mingling with players. We obviously didn't have that at all, that relationship with the manager for the past 2 years, Gressel says. Tata was really just never seen other than on the training field or when we had a game. He wasn't in the hotel lobby trying to talk to you. Sometimes I wouldn't see him for days. Frank is more of a presence in the locker room. That to me comes off as Gressel kind of jockeying a little him a little bit and being open, maybe for the other guys that are like,
this is awkward.
Yeah, this is great that it's different, right? And the thing is, there are probably people that felt Tata.
Leave me alone, Dad.
And if you ever had a change of boss, right? There, maybe people thought some players thought Tata was too distant, didn't like that style. Some may not like. LGP alluded to it and said that he just show up in the locker room. They're not used to that. They're used to the coach asking permission to come in.
It sounds like Frank's got a little Lumberg in him.
Yeah, there's a huge cultural shift, and the article even alluded to the fact that at least Frank de Boer is learning from these things,
right?
Because it's clear, and we talked about it, and you talked about it in your fan cams. It felt like he walked in there and said, "This is how we do defense. This is," and the guys were like, "This is not cool. Like,
this isn't cool at all."
And we
saw that in the results.
And it took them, but. What's good is he's flexible. He learns. He listens. The coaching staff met with the team.
Yeah. The
team sort of recommitted to investing in this process, but doing some things a little differently. He no longer does things like he learned. They said he learned it at Crystal Palace. It would irk some of the players when he would right
play
at the end
with them in practice.
At practice, play with them and stuff.
Yeah, and now he just does it after.
So now he does it on his own after practice. Things like that. So he clearly can adjust. That is, to me, like out of all the things in the article, that is a sigh of relief for me.
Yes.
Because my biggest concern was, is this guy, going to continue to just try and push and shove his system down the throat of the players, or is there some back and forth in a collaborative nature?
Well, we said square peg round hole a lot at the beginning.
So, and I think also the things that I took away from this article that was very interesting is this whole idea now that he's instilled the system, and he said it's going to take 6 months for them to be fully comfortable in the system. But there's this idea that and I said this because I was so used to Tata always being up on his feet, talking to the players. But with Frank, he said he instilled the system, right? And he can sit back because he knows that the players can analyze for themselves what is going on and what the other opposition is doing and adjust.
Yeah.
And we saw the Red Bulls games, how being on the sideline constantly can be a distraction. Kamar Lawrence and Chris Armas were going at it all the time, and it was just like, play the game.
Well, I was sitting in the media area, with Eve from High Press Podcast, and watching Armas just pace. I mean, and get right behind the linesman and just ream the fourth official on little shit.
Yeah.
Luis Robles getting warned about, time
It's like, what
wasting.
could you possibly be saying that's going to change what's happening on the field at that point?
Well, there was that one point where I believe you were talking to Ryan Cadenese.
Maybe.
And Armas and the fourth official were nose to nose, and I could hear it clear as day because we were right there by the side of the pitch, and the fourth official was just like, "Sit down and shut the fuck up," and it was like, "Whoa!" And then you see the fourth referee just come over and like grab Armas and pull him back, and he just the whole match it was just nitpicking. Kamar Lawrence would run over to the side and he'd be like, "I want you to go back to the center and then chip over the top," and he'd be like, "They're running down my fucking side. Shut the fuck up." It's just like. Wow.
Yeah.
Completely different styles.
It may make some people feel better to see that, and I don't care.
I thought it was cringeworthy.
I just don't care what the coach's style
I don't want to see that,
is.
but it's just that anticipation that I had from what Tata
there's a
did
culture
where,
that we're built used to seeing, right? A certain
there's
thing.
also that perception that Tata would be up and would be
moving
making
his hands around,
gestures and fuck you too to Armas the previous year, but. That was one of my biggest critiques of Frank and Orlando Trustful is when we were playing as poorly as we were, it looked like he couldn't shrink further into the bench if he wanted to. I like a coach that gets up and at least stands in his technical area. I know that's nitpicky, but it's like,
and I think he has been more lately.
He has,
yeah.
and there's just a visual.
He's been more
to
engaged.
It. Yeah, there's just a visual to it. It was like he was calling for the foul in Real Salt Lake, which didn't happen, which led to the game losing goal. But I mean, it's like there has been an engagement. Bringing it back to the original thought, there has been a change in him from when we brought him on.
He's probably also feeling more comfortable. When you feel more comfortable, you let things go. Certain things that you hold on to, that you're more rigid about because they're crutches or things that make you feel more in control. And when you become more comfortable, you're more apt to let those things kind of roll off your shoulders.
And also another good note about that is that Frank's family is finally here.
Right.
His girls are coming in for the summer and his boys are here.
And he's mentioned that he's very happy.
And it can't be said
Atlanta.
enough. Atlanta United won MLS Cup on December the 8th. The offseason started on December the 9th. They had mandatory 6 weeks rest. Then they had Cal State football. They had a 2-week training camp, and then what was it? February 23rd or something. We were playing against Herediano in Costa Rica. So I mean, he had no prep. He had, and I said in the beginning, I felt like it was forced and it was rushed and it was wrong. But I also have to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that it's starting to round in because there is time. It's still not great. It's still slow.
I think he would agree that there's a lot of things, and he even said there are a lot of things that need to improve on. So, but again, he asked for 6 months. We're not even there yet, and we're starting.
But the
to see
results are there.
Yeah,
and the results have come in non-traditional ways. Like Darren said, when we were going to be the team that beats people 4-3. We've been beating people 1-0.
Yeah, and I even said it, and people gave me some grief about it. Like I was being negative, and I was just being, I thought, pretty factual. Which is, we may see a lot more 1-0 wins. We may 1-0 our way to the playoffs.
You're a negative son of a bitch, Jay. I mean, how it goes.
But at the same time, that's just a different way of soccer.
But it's not going to be a 1-0 where it's only one clear shot that we have. I mean, we can obviously see that when we won those 1-0 games, we still had those really jolting moments where it was so close.
We also had a lot of fucking boring as fuck moments, Kelly.
Colorado.
Okay, once again, negative J.
New England Revolution.
I'm sorry, but there were a lot of boring games up until the last couple. Even Minnesota was not inspiring, and
until the end.
It felt like a 1-0 game, and we might even get scored on the whole time until the very end. And people look at the stat sheet and say 3-0, and I'm like, bullshit.
Now that's one thing though. You don't have the fear. This is the emergence of Miles Robinson. You don't have the fear of the 87th minute brain fart anymore.
Not as much.
Not as much. I still have a fear of it, but not as much.
I have more of a fear of the 2nd minute brain fart or the 46th minute brain fart. Like right before the half that we. But we've been keeping so many clean sheets that it's like, you almost don't see the ball.
Our luck's going to run out eventually.
Eventually,
some of
have we conceded a goal and then won the game yet?
No.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah. So so that'll be interesting to see if we if we go down early, can we Can we have the character to come back? Like
8 clean sheets, 8 wins. The rest of it,
yeah. So hopefully, as Guzan said, it's all meaningless unless you come back after the break and you continue to do even better and more.
And we're done no favors. Toronto.
No, yeah. We got a lot of tough games coming up.
Montreal.
Atlanta United injuries. Bello's still out for a couple months at least. Ambrose is back in training but not fit. Kratz is still out. Tito, knee injury, unknown time out as well. Hopefully he's back sooner than he has been in previous injuries.
They said that's a tricky one though because it's one cut and it can get real bad.
Yeah, they said he could seem fine, and then all of a sudden you're screwed again. Some transfer news. When asked about the open roster slot, Frank de Boer did say that, of course, we are interested in adding good players. It has to fit the salary cap and the rules we have here. Wah, wah. We would add someone who we think could step in directly rather than waiting 1 year to adapt. So
I have an idea.
Yeah,
I have an idea.
It's not that guy from Scotland that they're
no,
saying. For Scotland.
No, not the second division.
As of right now, from what I understand with the roster and salary restrictions, he has to be under 24.
Really?
What? Why?
I didn't know anything about the age because
ages.
My thought
There's
does
an
not
age cap.
My thought does not
On the summer transfer window.
There's an age cap with the roster slot we have available.
Because it's a reserve roster slot.
Yes.
Because my thought was
we would move someone out of the team. And
we would have to, So basically, we could get anybody we want if we got rid of one of our players.
Yeah.
So my thought with that is there's a guy who just finished up at Bayern Munich. It's not robbery. It's not Frank Ribery or Arjen Robben, but Rafinha. I think Rafinha could come in. He hasn't played a lot of matches. He could play right back. He could play
salary
back,
cap.
You could probably pay him
a TAM guy. You think?
I think you could probably pay him $300,000 to $400,000 for the rest of one season.
Oh, I see. The half the season.
I just want him to play through just to deputize at right back for Escobar.
Let's put on this fancy, right? So in that case, who are we getting rid of?
You'd probably drop Kratz, someone like Kratz or
Andrew Carlton.
Andrew Carlton, yeah.
We are not. And like as much as
what has he done?
Hold on, time out. He hasn't done anything. I agree with you. Here's the only thing about that: he's a homegrown player, which means if we sell him when he's better,
just go to the twos.
The more amount of money.
Just go to the twos.
No, it doesn't. No, he's already signed.
It'd be interesting.
You can't sign him. You can't unsign him from Atlanta United and sign him to the twos.
Then it's got to be somebody that's been hurt, like a Kratz. Because Kratz hasn't given you really anything this season. I'm not saying the veteran leadership is there with other players now. Darlington Nagbe, Breck Shea, Leandro Gonzalez-Perez, Mikey
I think you
Parkhurst,
could move Kratz in the window too. I think you could move him. I think you could sell him for maybe there's
to the right team.
You're looking at Kratz, or in my opinion, because we don't have a lot of midfield players, right? So Kratz is a midfielder. I think
we have Miram now.
Well,
who could play midfield, by the way.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good point. But
so could Rafinha.
I think you're also looking at Mikey Ambrose.
No, I think Mikey stays because of the left back situation, purely for depth. I think that Frank is looking at that depth in left back and saying, Mikey.
Yeah, because right now your left backs are Parkhurst, Shea, and Pogba.
And you could see Frank prefers to play Breck Shea off the bench at the left wing.
Yeah, and he's better there. He's taking shots.
Breck doesn't want to play left back. He'll play it, but he doesn't want to play, and you know that nobody else wants to play him at left back. But if they have to, then they do. But they prefer to play him at left wing.
Right.
And, that's something that he is much more successful at.
So I would love to see a defender and not an elder statesman, but somebody with European experience that's, like I said, you could bring in for one season. Because Bello, I don't believe, is going to give
and
you
that's what I think a lot of people are.
Season.
That's what I think a lot of people are saying is that we understand Joseph's out for the international break, but that he's back before the summer transfer window. Do you really need an offensive player, or do you need a left back at this point?
I actually think we're going to do more than just one move. And my opinion on it is that Frank would like another legit possible attacker, maybe somebody who's later in his years.
He said he wants someone that can do it immediately.
I think we get rid of Romario.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
But the other name to look at would be somebody like a Nigel de Jong or somebody that Frank has experience with that can. I really believe that he wants steel. He wants somebody that because we play better when Lorenowitz and Remedi are together. But I don't think Jeff can give you 90 minutes.
Well, the latest
every
rumor
week.
is some guy in the Scottish Premier League or something that's scored 0 goals and 1 assist in
right. Another
11
tank.
matches or something.
Right.
I don't know. So some Atlanta United 2 news. Since their loss to Nashville on May 4th, Atlanta United 2 have strung together a few draws against Bethlehem Steel, Swope Park Rangers, and Charleston Battery. Also, we talked about this already, about Don Garber addressing the charter flight constraints in the CBA. And then also, Kelly, you saw this, right? The Philadelphia Union video that they dropped.
Yes, I loved the.
Was this the car smash?
Would you
Yes.
look? Would you look at that?
Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Red Bulls? This is a Philly town. This is a Union
town. Which so many people were like,
Hilarious.
but they're not even rivals. And I'm like, it doesn't even. It's not about if they're rivals. It's about the content that's being created.
And
I thought the content was fantastic.
People who've been living in this MLS bubble for a fucking decade need to calm the fuck down
worst
and
comments,
enjoy a fucking comedy video.
The worst comments were the way to feed into the negative stereotypes about our city people.
It's like, dude, he's not throwing batteries at people.
You guys fucking threw battery-laden snowballs at Santa
He's beating
Claus.
the shit out of a car that's obviously been put there by the team, and it's a total setup.
I
You
mean,
could
the
tell.
freaking snake showed up.
Yeah, when the mascot
Fang.
That's supposed to be the hint, right? Like, if you didn't get it already when you're watching the video, when the mascot comes out and starts throwing a concrete brick on the
When
car,
the cops didn't show up.
yeah,
I
then
mean,
you're like, okay, I get it. So, anyways, I think it's great marketing.
I thought it was fantastic.
I thought that Philadelphia Union have won. By the way, their media team has won because
they do
in
good
the
shit.
past in the league for the best media team, and that was a really good one. They got this Snapchat guy, YouTube star in the area that does this character, and that's the character that they use. And I actually never knew about him, so now I follow him and I watch some of his YouTube videos, and they're fucking hilarious.
So can we smash up a rusted out 79 El Camino when Orlando City comes to town?
I mean, if you want to drop that money. So reports are that Inter Miami are targeting Luis Suarez, which you mentioned, Barcelona, and even Beckham talked to Lionel Messi apparently about longer-term future. They have admitted to targeting 3 major players. Who knows who the third one is that they're talking about? Here's the relevant nature to this Suarez rumor, though. This is what people are saying could make it legitimate. Suarez had surgery before the Copa del Rey final, which sparked backlash in Barcelona, since it was seen as him prioritizing Copa Americana over Barcelona. It's been reported now that Barcelona's board sees him as transferable.
He's also, again, getting up there in age.
Yeah.
He's done everything there.
Yeah.
And Barcelona is a what have you done for me lately club.
Always have been.
Always have been. They didn't win the Champions League, so this year it's literally like they need a scapegoat, and it's never going to be Messi. We know that. So if Suarez is the one who has to fall on his dagger, he's made moves before. I mean, keep in mind, he played at Ajax, he played at Liverpool, he played at Barcelona. There's nothing to say that he won't make a mercenary move to MLS and ball out and cash in.
Yeah.
Why would you not take $40 million to go to Miami, like in a David Beckham style move?
Yeah, and he'll get all the charter flights. That he wants.
Literally.
Could you imagine him sitting in Hartsfield Jackson?
Oh my God.
In coach, waiting on
Standby.
Could you though?
With his name up on a board.
Not at all.
Suarez, please come to the counter.
Suarez. Luis Suarez.
So, guys, if we look at the table, we're in third place behind DC United. As we alluded to, we are 2 games in hand of DC, who's at second, and we have 1 game in hand with Philadelphia. And we have the Open Cup match coming up on Tuesday the 11th. That's the only game we have during this break, really.
Hey, Charleston Battery, imagine that.
In Charleston yet again. And so we'll, that's the region. So we'll see them, and it's always an interesting matchup when we play. Never a given, especially when we're playing young guys. There's no, just no guarantee.
And that's something we should
through.
ask. Can you, if you're listening to this podcast and watching this broadcast, please, I want to see your predicted starting 11 for that match, because we're all going to be way the hell off. But it'd be interesting to know what some of the listeners
tweet
think.
at us, put it in your comments.
You're gonna have a few starters in that match.
Let us know. Also, let us know in the comments. YouTube, if you're watching YouTube, let us know how much you think Barco could sell for today. That would
25.
be interesting. Tell Kelly she's wrong, and then put why. So we are on a break until the 26th. Toronto FC is our first match. That's going to be always a tough one. I don't care who you are.
And then we get the Canadian two-step with Montreal at home right after that.
Pozuelo's been a little quiet, though, lately.
It's not Toronto anymore. It's Montreal's been really good.
Well, Montreal just also lost.
For Montreal, they've been really good.
For Montreal, okay. Let's preface it.
Montreal just lost Piatti
And then we play Chicago again.
for
Right.
Columbus just lost Federico Higuain for the season.
So. Then we play Chicago, and then we play Red Bulls again, which said he's going to try to come down from High Press Podcast.
He needs to do that, and I'm reaching out right now. Jamie Chin, Nicole Hack. I know July the 3rd. Atlanta United plays Chicago Fire. I would love to come see that match and shoot in away days in Chicago.
Yes.
Just putting it out there. It would be amazing.
We would love that.
To come shoot with you guys. So,
and we have friends, a lot of friends there in the supporters groups up there as well. So that would be a great connect. Atlanta United 2 games coming up Friday on the 7th. They play the Red Bull Reserves, and then the next week after that, they are also at home again against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Some upcoming events, guys.
Those damn Riverhounds.
Atlanta United is hosting a whole bunch of World Cup watch parties starting June 11th. You can find those at atlutd.com/fans/events. But there are a whole other awesomer, I think, watch parties happening as well. But Mexico versus Venezuela, Tata is in town. In fact, he is picking up his championship ring on Thursday, it said.
Oh, really?
They held on to it so that they could give it to him in person.
I'll be there. I was hopeful that he was going to be driving home the Spike last week. You know,
that would have been
so dope.
Who would have loved? I bet they didn't for Frank. They're like, all right, we don't want to overshadow
Could you imagine
Frank.
how loud
Frank.
it would have been?
We don't want to overshadow Frank.
Our ears would have been bleeding.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, speaking of other Women's World Cup events, there's a kickoff party. When we talked about the
Midway
Pub, they are doing a kickoff party event on the 7th at Midway Pub. And so that's just this week. And another big event that they're doing. I mean, they're doing watch parties at Midway Pub all throughout the World Cup.
Yeah, anytime there's a game, they will have a watch party.
Kelly, call your winner and your runner-up right now.
It's the World Cup. It's the only damn World Cup going on right now.
Can.
All right,
call your winner and your World Cup runner-up.
France is the winner.
Well, of course, she's
French.
Yeah. She's also German.
I am also German.
She just stuffs that deep inside.
I just stuff it deep inside. Although Germany is
really
a good contender
and they
this
have
year.
dope videos that they put out.
Yep.
I forgot the way that the brackets line up right now, but without looking at the brackets, that I might be completely wrong with this. I think France is my winner, and my runner-up is Spain.
And then they'll have another big event going down, maybe giveaways or other things for the watch party specifically on the 16th. And, of course, you can also find all the World Cup games here at Hudson FC throughout the tournament if you are in this area as well and you don't want to go all the way to Midway Pub. And, check it out. So,
Jay, call your winner and your runner-up right now.
I think Norway is going to win.
Okay.
That's a long shot.
I think it's going to be one of those Croatia upset situations. I think, or they'll make it to the final at least.
That is
who do they play in the final?
I don't know what the bracket looks like. We need to get our shit together.
Without looking at the bracket, though, who would you imagine would be in that final?
France and England.
France and England in the final.
Well, I mean, I think those two are final material.
They are final material.
I don't know
absolutely.
if they're the same side of the bracket or what, but
now I gotta go look up the bracket now. Hold on.
I was gonna say England, China versus.
When we do when you guys do Queens of the South, you should.
Yeah. So next Tuesday,
next
Wednesday when it drops,
go into the bracket,
and then Jay and I can do a video cut-in where it's like, hey, we informed ourselves.
Soccer in the street stuff coming up, guys. The ATL Champions League kickoff party is, if you're watching this as it comes out on Wednesday, it is tonight, Wednesday, June 5th, from 6 to 9 p.m. At the Eventide Brewery. So be there. Check it out because they'll be hosting a draw for the ATL Champions League to decide the bracket, along with a live podcast by Jason Longshore and Soccer Down Here. And then the actual event, which has raised over $71,000 already, is on June 9th. That's Sunday, June 9th, at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Training Ground from 11:30 to 5:30. Kelly will be out of the town, but I'm going to try to be there and do some podcasting with Jason Longshore and maybe some others. Maybe AJ will be there. I'm not sure.
And aren't we Team Belgium in that?
I think we're team whatever Jessica tells us we are.
Yeah, no. So we just do whatever Jess tells us to do.
That's the safest bet. We have some iTunes reviews.
Why don't you read them while I look at the bracket?
All right, first one by Summer Yada. It says ATL UTD culture and community, 5 stars. Great podcast about the support culture around Atlanta United and the community as a whole. Thank you, Summer Yada, for your review. We'll be sure to enter you into the giveaway when we hit 100 reviews. Also, from Shelly Milliken.
Shelly Milliken.
Look forward to it every week. 5 stars. Probably not their target demographic, as I am now a middle-aged soccer mom in the suburbs, but I love this podcast.
You are exactly the target. Every demographic is the target.
Everyone's a Parceros and Relegated. Love the fan-centric approach to covering ATL UTD. Kelly, Jessica, and Jay keep it interesting, insightful, and funny. I enjoy the friends hanging out, having a drink, talking football vibe. Makes me forget I'm driving my minivan and think I'm hanging out ITP instead.
Who is that?
Cheers, and keep up the good work. Thanks, Shelly.
Shelly Milliken.
Appreciate it.
Minivan Milligan.
That's 87 reviews, guys. When we get to 100, we'll do a giveaway. If you leave a review, we can see your name, and we'll use an honor system because we pull your name out. We obviously don't know your email address and stuff. You're anonymous, so we'll need you to reach out. But we'll do something like that, and then we'll do a general giveaway as well.
It's going to be one of your used tanks.
Well, yeah, one of my 15 used tanks. And then also, so coming up with Unrelegated, as I said, you'll be seeing a lot of Women's World Cup coverage, especially from Kelly and Jessica. A lot of stuff going on. We may attend a watch party and do a recording there as well. ATL Champions League coming up. All the things. Also, check out my latest video on the Unrelegated YouTube channel. Okay, and it is a tailgate spotlight on Parceros United, following them around, drinking Guerbo.
That reggaeton was amazing.
Having a dance party after the match. It was lit at that tailgate. It was wild. If you missed it, if you just want to get yourself psyched up for the next tailgate, go and check out that motherfucking music video.
Yes. Can I do a sidebar right now?
Yes, please.
All right. So instead of trying to get the final, because I can't pull up, for some reason nobody's created the bracket yet, which really bothers me. Let's just pick our winners of each group. So Group A is France, Korea, Norway, and Nigeria. Norway wins in Group A against France. Are you serious?
I'll go France wins, Norway second.
All right, France first, Norway second in Group A. All right, Group B is Germany, China, Spain, and South Africa.
China, Spain.
China, Spain. You don't think Germany has a shot in that one?
It's not that they don't have a shot. It's just that's going to be one of those. Somebody wins it with 4.
Okay.
And then there's going to be everybody else beats each other up.
Jay?
No idea.
Group C is Australia, Italy, Brazil, and Jamaica. Jamaica's their first time.
Yeah.
Brazil and Italy. Okay.
That sounds about right.
I will tell you right now that Australia will win that group. I'm 100% Sam Kerr is going to kill people.
Well, then you're going to go with Australia, Brazil?
I'm going to go with Australia, Brazil.
Right.
Yep. Group D is England, Scotland, Argentina, and Japan.
Yeah, Japan and England.
England and Japan.
England, Japan, and that
yes,
order. Yeah.
I would agree with that. Group E is Canada, Cameroon, New Zealand, and the Netherlands.
Canada and the Netherlands.
Okay.
I'm going to say New Zealand and Netherlands.
Okay. All right. Group F is USA, Thailand, Chile, and Sweden.
Thailand and US.
Sweden.
Thailand and Sweden, you said?
No, Thailand and US. US and Thailand.
I said US and Sweden. Although I think Thailand is going to be the if there was a third place team, yeah, it's going to be between them.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
US wins that group going away though.
All right.
Well, I look forward. Maybe you guys can break into that further. I'm sure you guys are going to talk all sorts of stuff. World Cup
me and Jess will hit a bunch of that. Because by that time next week, we would have already been. The U.S. will actually be playing or have already played by the time we record on Tuesday.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Devon, where can people find you?
At Devon4Real, DEVON, the number 4 Real, and also at 4Real Sports LLC.
All right, and also 4realsports.com. You can check out the video and on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share this episode if you're watching on the Atlanta United Fan TV YouTube channel. If you're listening, you can check us out there as well and see our wonderful faces as we're screaming at each other and interrupting each other. Here, one of us on Soccer Down Here for the Unrelegated Takeover every Monday at 10 a.m. on Soccer Down Here. And I think next week is Kelly and then me, or me and then Kelly. I don't remember, but we'll figure it out. And then find us at Unrel ATL on all the social media. You can find me now.
Oh, my God. He made a jailbreak, son.
At JAYW Riddle. That's JAYW Riddle. The underscore has been replaced with a letter. Thank you, Celine Dion, for that. And if you don't know the story behind that, well, just hit me up in a DM. I'll be glad to tell you about it.
For as long as you're out of Twitter jail.
Well, you can find Kelly at The Kelly Francis, and you can find Jessica at Jessica ATL UTD.
Before we go, I also want to give a huge shout out to our home studio, which is Hudson FC.
Yes.
Much
love to Fran.
I finally got to eat one of my spaghetti sandwiches again, and the world has been set right. They also have a samosas Ice cream cake.
Yeah, it was insane.
I will never be able to eat cake again.
AKA
I feel
diabetes.
Well, it was ice cream cake, right?
It was ice cream. It was caramel. It was coconut. It was chocolate. It was graham
hazelnut.
crackers.
It was graham crackers.
Oh
it
my
was
god.
diabetes.
Oh my god. It was so delicious.
All right, guys. I want to thank you again, Devon. Thanks so much. And
always, man.
Yeah, man. We'll catch you guys in the flip side. Peace.
Deuces.